Cops of Reddit, what strange or obscure laws does your town require you to enforce? Cop in Australia. If I catch you with having more than 50 kilograms of potatoes in your possession, I will arrest you. Mostly because it would be hilarious. Then I'll unarrest you because who really gives a shit? Still illegal in Western Australia though. Till a trafficable quantity of potatoes is 50 kilograms. Strippers can't touch you unless you're a close relative. I'm a cop. And don't let me catch you wrestling a bear. That's illegal in these parts. Would you really try and arrest a guy if he just took down a bear? Solid point. Not a cop. But whale fishing is illegal here. In the middle of Nebraska. We also have a navy. Actually a law enforced in my town. If more than 3 people would like to live together, 2 of them must be related. This is a college town. So if 5 dudes wanted to live together, at least 2 of them would have to be related. It's not enforced as much my private renters. But property managers and such have to follow to law. My town has a dress code. Anyone caught sagging, wearing their pants below their waist in a gang-like fashion, can be arrested on sight. Edit, holy it. Someone please tell me there's a way to clear my message notifications all at once semicolon. My entire town outlaws wearing masks with the exception of the night of Halloween. Southerner? While it seems weird, the KKK were a much larger threat at one point. Kind of like ISIS is now in the immediate post-war South. When my friends and I were 15, we bought some cheap kites at the dollar store and decided to take them with us downtown. We live in Chicago, and fly them. We started trying to fly them by the Art Institute when we got stopped by a cop. He told us that kites were not allowed to be flown anywhere in the downtown area, and if he saw us doing it again he would give us a $250 citation. It seemed kind of weird since Millennium and Grant Park were both in the downtown area. But we didn't argue. Years later I found out that it actually was an obscure law. But a law that was repealed in the 1970s. Turns out we were just fine flying our kites and that cop was just a dick that didn't like seeing us having fun. It's possible the cop didn't know that the law had been repealed. It's his job to know. Park ranger law enforcement here. I did a detail in Joshua Tree and asked about strange laws they had. I was told that possession of balloons was unlawful because tortoises like shiny things. Try to eat them and die. Also a park ranger here. I find my lava balloons absolutely everywhere. I support that kind of ban. In our park is also illegal to dig any holes. I'm a cop in Vermont. Public nudity is legal in most cities, but there's a persistent myth even among fellow officers that you can't take off your clothes in public, so essentially you'd have to walk out of your house naked, despite no basis at all for it. I've had supervisors try to insist I enforce the myth. Not a cop. But I was once ticketed for wasting finite resources in AZ. I was speeding. I'm not a cop. But my township doesn't allow drive-thrus to have deep fryers. The only food-based drive-thru in my entire township of 65,000 people is one Tim Hortons. Head of household is supposed to own a gun. I mean, they don't really enforce it, but we get a lot of recognition for it. Edited to say that I'm not a cop. Just blind and missed the first word. Oops. Kennesaw Gar. Ding ding. Yep. I'm cop. This is a super old law, but it never got taken away. Stealing someone's livestock is punished by death. This one can be used too. Spitting on a sidewalk is a miss. Local law against swearing in public. I'd be the biggest hypocrite enforcing that law. Get on the duck-ine ground. Officer I know. Give me your gun and badge. Go home. Journalist who reports on cops here. Motorcyclists must always have 2 feet on the ground when stopped. Short men beware. Not a cop. The town I work for, it is legal to openly drink alcohol in all parks. Dogs are not allowed in any park. There's a law in a city near me that it's illegal for women to buy hats without their husbands on Wednesdays. In Germany you get imprisoned for up to 10 years if you cause a nuclear explosion but don't hurt anybody or destroy anything. So it's okay for me to cause a nuclear explosion as long as I hurt someone or destroy something? In Minnesota, if 3 or more Indians are on the street together, it is considered a gang war party and can be freely open fired upon. Has been used to justify police brutality. I am retired from the cop game, but I did it for almost 20 years. This is more of a state law and I was not required to enforce it, but one night I had to go back to the house 4 times due to a married couple arguing very loudly. No violence was involved. I advised them on my 3rd visit that maybe it would be best if one of them spent the night somewhere else so they could cool off. Both of them refused to leave, so I asked them to try and settle the situation because I didn't want to have to visit them again, and I went on my way. On my final return visit they were outside in the driveway, and as I was walking up I heard the female admit to sleeping with someone else the night before, so I arrested her for adultery, which is a misdemeanor in that state, and took her to jail. I didn't have to go back that night. Not a cop. But in my home state, if you ride your horse to school, it is the school's responsibility to feed and water it. Every year, people would get together and ride their horses to school, and the horses would stay in the football field. Obligatory, not cop. But illegal to hit a Canadian goose with your car. You'll at the very least get slapped with a fine. Have personally watched it happen because the person was too impatient to wait for them to cross. Weird South Carolina laws. Horses may not be kept in bathtubs. It is a capital offense to inadvertently kill someone while attempting suicide. It is perfectly legal to beat your wife on the courthouse steps on Sundays.